Welcome to the Behind the Scenes X Skinfaktor webinar. It is with great excitement that we kick off our launch into the Australian and New Zealand professional beauty market with this morning's webinar. Now, this is a real game changer for our industry, and I'm very, very proud to have personal involvement with Skinfaktor and, of course, its creators, Helmut and Gabriella Lafontaine. Whilst the Medilift has been successfully used within Australia for close to 7 years now, this morning will showcase the latest upgrades to the technology and the addition of a true breakthrough in the field of skin needling, and that is what we are calling the Shibata Intense Method. So welcome to the webinar. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Danielle Hughes and I am the owner of Skinfaktor Australia. As many of you may have come to know, my philosophy for treating the skin revolves around the less is more concept. Less trauma, less inflammation, less heat, less blood, less disturbance to the skin's natural barrier and acid mantle, less downtime and less pain. Ultimately, when we treat the skin respectfully, we see faster and superior long-term outcomes. And this technology, which we are about to present on the webinar, ticks all the boxes for me, as opposed to so many of the devices out there within our market, which require long recovery time before the actual benefit phase of the treatment can start. So to give you a little bit of heritage surrounding Skinfaktor and the overseas parent company, Lafontaine Technology. Lafontaine Technology is Europe's leading manufacturer of innovative treatments and systems for the aesthetic market. Helmut and Gabriella Lafontaine hold a collective 80 years of experience serving this incredible industry. Helmut Lafontaine was in fact the world first in developing a vertical microneedling device. And later in 2002, a custom range of cosmeceutical products were developed where Gabriella Lafontaine really did take charge. And I suppose the reason and the benefit of the skincare was to leverage treatment efficiency and enhance long-term outcomes for the skin to really promote longevity for those results. The Skinfaktor method forged ahead in 2021 this year by fusing an even higher tech, sophisticated Medilift device with further evolved and updated skincare, which we are going to touch on a little later in this webinar. So our mission, and this mission is not just shared by Helmut and Gabriella Lafontaine, it's also our mission here as Skinfaktor Australia, and that is to empower the professional beauty therapist with exclusive tools, so just for them. This is not something that can be bought online and DIY'd at home. And we're wanting to create these exclusive tools to be able to deliver professional and measurable outcomes that create client confidence and, of course, loyalty to the salon and clinic business. Our mission is also to combat the effect that modern world has on our skin and on our body at large by delivering advanced skin supplementary formulas, i.e. peptides, that target cells with impaired metabolism that results in a skin issue. We also look to minimize and in many cases eliminate the need for trauma, inflammation, wound healing, downtime, and of course, blood. This supports faster realized and longer lasting skin outcomes for essentially your customer. So the first inception of the Medilift launched some 7 years ago here in Australia, and it's sleek, it's compact, and it's practical. It has been used widely by professional beauty therapists and dermal clinicians with great success throughout this 7-year period. This was the technology that first pioneered the concept of minimizing trauma to essentially accelerate the rejuvenation process within the skin. But like all great technology, it is constantly evolving to be better, to be more functional, to be more powerful, to be more ergonomic for a superior user or operator, that's us as beauty therapists and dermal clinicians, experience throughout that treatment. In parallel, Skinfaktor cosmeceutical skincare has also evolved, featuring now some truly revolutionary formulative techniques and advanced peptides. So enter the Medilift redesigned and reimagined. This is the next generation Medilift device, and being that I have my camera on, I thought I would also show you guys who are tuning in what it looks like in the flesh. And as you can see, you've got room in the actual machine for all of your skincare products and the treatment products that you're going to require to perform the Medilift treatment, whether it's the signature or the latest intense treatment. We then also have this little guy, which houses our hand pieces as well as our aftercare product. So everything is really compact, really well designed, and still very, very sleek. So the Metalift technology is a professional delivery system, and this is a technology that is used to amplify the results that are achieved in each and every clinic treatment or salon treatment, as well as to amplify those results that are achieved from using Skinfaktor home care in between those professional treatments. These particular techniques work to prevent and correct skin conditions such as premature aging, hyperpigmentation, blemishes, acne and congestion, uneven skin tone, rough texture, and of course dehydration. Dehydration is such a big condition that we see walking in to our salons and our clinics on a daily basis, particularly now as we're coming into the winter where we have central heating and it really zaps all the moisture out from the skin. So the Medilift device doesn't only prevent premature aging and breakthrough pigment, it can also help to reinstate a nice healthy hydration level within the skin. It provides gentle controlled resurfacing and an accelerated collagen induction, most importantly, without that prolonged downtime that can be associated with collagen-inducing treatments. And it is exclusively for the professional. It is made by professionals who have dedicated their life to our industry, and it's made exclusively for professional beauty therapists and dermal clinicians. This Medilift device has improved handpiece ergonomics. In fact, all of our treatment handpieces are far more easy to work with now as the operator, but they are also adjustable. So they have 3 levels of length or exposure, you could say, that really empower the therapist to be able to adapt and personalize and tailor the treatment based on the skin, its condition, and also the comfort threshold of the client. This device has more power than what the original first generation Medilift did, and this allows for the operator to really control the level of intensity that is output within the treatment. It has a smaller salon footprint. Everything is able to be fit into the actual machine itself. It has a compact, smart design that provides easy access to the products, and it's simple to operate. It is automatically forgiving of inexperience, regardless of what qualification your beauty therapist has, whether they have been within the industry for many, many years or they're fresh out of college. This is a system that really does reduce risk factor and also empowers your younger or your less experienced therapist to perform really cutting-edge treatment in a simplistic kind of format. The treatment handpieces are, as I said, easy to adjust. They're hygienic, they're very economical, and they are quick to change. Everything essentially connects into one cord. So you're not having to chop and change during your treatment. It's very, very seamless, the actual procedure. The device allows for a very, very fast return on investment, and that's based on a very structured and proven launch strategy that we, myself and Skinfaktor Australia, will help you through every step of the way. And for those of you tuning in who have ever experienced one of my events where I've actually come to your salon and we've worked together throughout the day, they are very successful, they're proven, and they really do generate a lovely level of energy, not just for the team, but also for the clients. And of course, this is a proven treatment method within Australia. Now, I'd like to take this chance throughout this webinar. We have half an hour. We're probably going to finish a little bit earlier. So if anyone does have any questions, please write them in. Let me know who you are, where you're from. And if you do have any questions, I will either endeavour to answer them throughout this webinar, or I will be in touch after the webinar to go through them with you personally. So the Medilift technology, the Medilift device, allows us to work with functionality on a multidisciplinary level, in that we have different treatment handpieces that are all able to work in conjunction with each other within the treatment. So these particular treatment methods, the Polyabrasion, the Shibata M, the Shibata S, and most recently launched the Shibata Intense, can be combined within the one treatment, offering multifunctional, customizable treatment in keeping still with our less is best approach. So even when we're combining all of these elements in the one treatment for a really fast result for our clients, we're still aligning with the less is best approach. Now, this also allows the professional to be able to tailor to different requirements of the face. For example, the deepest part of the wrinkle. So I hate the wrinkles on my forehead. So you could target the deepest part of those wrinkles on my forehead, which require a greater level of intensity, a greater level of stimulation, versus the surrounding healthy tissue. As I'm sure you've come to learn within your careers within our industry, one size never fits all. So your Shibata S handpiece, which we are going to go through in a little bit more detail, really allows you that option to target into a particular area of concern where you're wanting to stimulate a more intensified, tailored response within the skin. Okay, polyabrasion. Now, polyabrasion is a patented technique. It is a polishing action that takes place within the skin. And this is something that we would do to prep the skin before we utilize our Shibata handpieces. This is the most gentle form of microdermabrasion. And as you'll notice, the tips are made out of a hypoallergenic medical grade polymer. There is no heat created through the massage movements. There's no friction, and therefore it is a bona fide anti-aging procedure as a standalone treatment. So when you have the Metalift technology, you don't necessarily need to progress with your Shibata activation. You may actually just perform an enzyme or a light fruit acid peel and some polyabrasion. The particular tip on the polyabrasion head has 50 abrasion crowns, which are all slightly rounded. So we're not scratching the skin, but rather buffing and polishing the skin. Now, the rotating disc of the polyabrasion creates a dual action on the surface of the skin. Action one is gentle resurfacing effect, and this results in a refined, exfoliated, retexturized skin. Then we have the stimulation of microcirculation through our gentle massage movements. And this in itself can pave the way for an advanced or a superior absorption of serums, which will come next. For our global skin activation, we have our Shibata M handpiece. Again, with the newly redesigned Medilift technology, this is adjustable. So you can adjust the full 0.4 mil of these polymer tip, or you can actually dial it down to only expose maybe 0.1 or 0.2 of these tips. Now, this activator cushion contains 20 multi-directional fine Shibata tips, which are made out of the exact same material that your polyabrasion handpiece was. This is your hypoallergenic medical grade polymer. Now, in particular with the new redesigned Medilift, this is a high-speed activation. These tips are non-invasive, they are sterile, and they are individually packed for safety. There is no damage to the skin organ through heat or ablation or excessive trauma. Of course, we know when it comes to the skin, if we can achieve an outcome without taking the skin to a wound state, then the skin will actually have a greater level of functionality and performance in years to come. The treatment of global activation or Shibata M activation is efficient. It takes about 10 minutes for the face, and this is something that's performed after we've prepped the skin with our polyabrasion handpiece. It's safe to use around the eye area, so up to the orbital bone and the brow bone. It is virtually lymph and bloodless, and it provides for minimal inflammation. There is an inbuilt safety mechanism, which I can go through with you in person if you would like to see this up close and maybe explore options for your business. We then have our focused activation. So this is what I was talking about with regards to really focusing into a wrinkle, where we're really wanting to stimulate excess collagen production and stimulate certain molecules and functions within the skin in the deepest part of that wrinkle. If we're to stimulate the skin on either side of that wrinkle to the same amount, then we're not going to realize that beautiful reduction in wrinkle depth that we are looking for. So our focused Shibata or our Shibata S activation facilitates a localized targeted treatment of wrinkles and scar for intensified regeneration within a specific zone of concern. As I said, my zone of concern is the lines on my forehead, but you'll have clients that maybe have lines around their mouth or the nasolabial fold or crow's feet around their eyes. This is something that you can activate in those specific regions. It precisely stimulates collagen and elastin to plump out the deepest zone or crease of the wrinkle, and it's also known to have treatment efficacy in reversing dehydration lines. And last but certainly not least, and for those of you tuning in who are existing Skinfaktor partners and stockists, you will be very, very excited to learn about the latest handpiece to our trio. So we've now got oh my goodness, this is embarrassing on a webinar to not actually have the word. I should Google it, but I don't want to get derailed. So we now have 4 handpieces in our stable. It is no longer a trio of handpieces. We now have 4. And this is something that can be utilized instead of our microactivation M or our Shibata our Shibata M handpiece for an intensified action on a more mature skin or a skin that is realizing a greater level of collagen breakdown and elastosis. So this handpiece retains 10 ultra-fine stainless steel Shibata tips. You can't actually see it so close because I'm so small in terms of the video I'm showing on my webinar. These tips are up to 0.6 millimeter. So just as we can now the other handpieces, the Shibata Intense handpiece can be adjusted. So we can expose as little as 0.2 millimeter of these stainless steel Shibata tips, or up to 0.6 millimeter. Therefore, this provides a deeper penetration and a deeper ingredient delivery of our peptide suspension sprays. Even though we are working to up to 0.6 millimeter, we're still seeing minimal blood and lymph disturbance, and this is obviously going to provide a faster and a greater longevity of results. The Shibata Intense handpiece will also promote collagen induction with significantly reduced inflammation to your more traditional needling procedures. This is compatible to be used with both our polyabrasion first and followed with our S activation for a targeted activation within the wrinkles. Now, the Shibata Intense handpiece has been designed to be specifically utilized with our booster sprays. So our patented booster collection was developed a couple of years ago. And this is a way in which we are able to really target the root cause of the condition to supplement a failing skin metabolism. So the dermal infusion sprays are available in 3 flavors, and they are available to essentially address the most common conditions that present within our salon or clinic. Those conditions are, of course, aging, lines and wrinkles, pigmentation, and congestion and redness. So the booster series works on the very heart of the skin condition by, as I mentioned, supplementing a failing cell metabolism using advanced peptides. And these peptides are delivered using a unique suspension formulation technique. The sophistication of these 3 formulas allows for deeper delivery of these peptides, which can then work as intended in vitro, so in the test tube or the little beacon or the cell culture within human cells. And these boosters work synergistically with our newly launched Shibata Intense handpiece, which is very exciting. So for a younger skin requiring more of a maintenance protocol, the signature Medilift treatment is a great starting point, and this will support healthy collagen production and skin hydration whilst working without aggression. Now, the signature Medilift treatment in particular, when utilizing our new and more powerful Medilift device, is also a great place to start with a new client. So even though we may end up taking them to the Intense handpiece, we can always start their treatment program by performing the entry-level signature treatment. So in this treatment, you will provide the client with a deep cleanse, a gentle fruit acid peel, or an enzyme exfoliation. You will then apply the Polyabrasion handpiece, your Shibata M handpiece with a specific serum or complex, and then you've got the option to intensify in that localized area with your Shibata S activator. So that's all in the one treatment, followed by a really high performance sheet mask and aftercare, generally speaking, our element protector. Now, if we're wanting to take it to the next step, which is what we now have the flexibility to be able to do with the latest Medilift device, we can then perform the Metalift Intense treatment. So instead of using our M activation, we will opt for our Shibata Intense. Now, this versatility, or I suppose this intensity, was previously, I suppose, not possible without trauma. So it's only until the new ultrafine Shibata tips that have been launched by Skinfaktor that we're now able to perform this really intense treatment without taking the skin to that full-blown trauma state. The Metalift Intense facial swaps out the M handpiece for the Intense, and this is the perfect treatment for your over 40, 45 market, or those clients that are reaching or requiring for a deeper level of stimulation. Our prescriptive serums and boosters will allow you as the professional beauty therapist, dermal clinician, to create a unique treatment protocol that directly addresses the heart of the condition and works to support a reprogramming of cell performance. And I've included in this webinar for you just some of the treatment outcomes that have been achieved over the years. Obviously, here on the screen, we have breakdown of elasticity, wrinkle formation, overall skin dehydration. Again, and here you can see some specific results for pigmentation and couperose. I will just mention that the results you can see on the screen for pigmentation were in fact just achieved with product alone over a 2-month period from memory. So that wasn't actually with treatment. So that's just a really great testament to the Skinfaktor treatment products and cosmeceutical skincare. So that wraps up this morning's broadcast. Of course, every single business within our industry is different and will often require different aspects, I suppose, for things to be successful. They'll have a different clientele and they'll have a different philosophy. So I would very much welcome the opportunity to speak with you personally, to present information surrounding the Medilift and our new handpiece and the concept as a whole that's pertinent to your situation. So feel free to give me a call directly here at Skinfaktor or shoot me an email and we can arrange a one-on-one custom discovery session so that we can really become acquainted with this device together. So I look forward, guys, to reading what your comments are. Karen, thank you for tuning in. I've just seen your comment. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you enjoyed the presentation. So I'm going to stop the recording, stop the screen share, and I look forward to hearing from you guys if you would like to arrange a meeting with me. Have a fantastic week, and I look forward to speaking soon. Bye for now.